prove to me you're conscious, do something a robot can't do. I bet you can't from looking at my perspective, so is there any way to prove consciousness? Well, not yet. For all I know, I'm the only one in this universe and everyone is AI, because humans can't do anything AI or some type of non-conscious being can't do or act when looking at people other than yourself. So what are the chances you are alone in the universe? Although low, the chances of being alone are still there. Unless you see life from multiple perspectives, you can't prove that statement wrong, which won't happen, or it won't happen for thousands of years. But you can really say the world revolves around you now at least, and have the chances of that being true from my perspective be zero, since I know I'm conscious, but I can't prove it to you, but from your perspective the chances are there. You might think emotions, crying, loving, etc. can prove someone's consciousness, but an AI or non-conscious being can cry, show emotions, or respond to actions like a normal human, like a philosophical zombies, which is when a human can do everything a normal human can do but lacks consciousness, and you couldn't tell the difference. If all of this is true, then when do we know when AI is conscious? Well, we don't, at least for now, so let's skip that. There are a few theories regarding consciousness. The first is panpsychism, which states that everything is alive, even dirt. There are two types of panpsychism. 1. Every particle contains consciousness. 2. Objects are conscious like a potato is conscious. So next time you cook, just remember this. Now this can be true since we don't have any strong evidence consciousness comes from the brain, but I think this is very unlikely. The second theory of consciousness is dualism, which means that the body and consciousness are separate, and consciousness is a different entity and exists independently from the body. As before I said that we haven't proved consciousness comes from the brain, so this could also be true. Another theory, quite the opposite of dualism, is materialism, which means that consciousness solely comes from the body and forms of particles, which could also be true, but I don't believe this, since then if you arranged a bunch of atoms in the right shape, it would just make this conscious thing. Functionalism is another theory that means that consciousness only comes from brain activity rather than the actual brain, which I think is more likely than materialism, but not my top pick. The integrated information theory is another, and means that the more complex systems an entity holds, the more conscious it becomes, which would explain why we're conscious with all that brain activity. Higher order is another, and it's not about what you do, it's about what experiences you have, and the complex interactions of the brain. And last theory, quantum consciousness, is suggesting that there's quantum processes within the brain which makes consciousness. By the way, quantum particles can exist in multiple states at a time if you didn't know, and are unalike to normal particles. Another thing to note when finding out what consciousness really is, or choosing a consciousness theory, is looking at cases like locked-in syndrome, which is where patients retain eye control, which suggests they are conscious when doing tests with their eye control, but are fully paralyzed and unresponsive. These people also pass fMRIs and EEGs, which are brain scans, and fMRIs are supposed to detect consciousness when the doctor tells the patient to think of something. They can see that they are thinking of something thought through the scan. While on the EEG brain scans, it's more focused towards electrical activity in the brain. But now you know the world might just revolve around you.